Hey Procrastinators! Today I'm back with another Team Tiny video hop, and the theme for this month is April showers, and we could interpret this however we wanted. And I made a trifold card, and my thinking behind this was that I would kind of have like a stormy panel on the front, and then you'd open it up and it'd kind of be like the weather's getting a little bit better. It's got like sun and rain on the middle panel with the rainbow. And then when you open it up to the very inside, it's got a nice sunny day. So I'm starting off here making my clouds. And usually my go-to color for clouds is tumbled glass. I wasn't really thinking about how storm clouds are gray. So when I got done with the ink blending on these, I'd realized that I needed my clouds to be stormy and gray. So I do change this up after I get done ink blending. But I did make this this cloud stencil with my Cricut. I just kind of put a square on my canvas, and then I took some clouds from Design Space and I welded them to that square. So that's how I made that. So as you can see, I'm kind of struggling here with this smaller piece, and I'm trying to tape it to my mat. And I don't know what I had on my mat. I must have had something kind of oily or something, because the tape was not sticking. The last two pieces I put down there were brand new pieces. The first piece I had was kind of like a reused piece that I stick to the side of my desk. So these new pieces, they didn't want to stick either. So I did kind of cut out a part of the clip where I had put everything aside and cleaned cleaned my mat. Anyway, so I'm just ink blending some clouds here. And then I will come in with stormy sky and ink blend some more clouds to kind of give it that grayish, stormy sky look. And I do, after I'm done with this, off camera later on, before I finished my card, I did actually come in with some weathered wood to give it a little bit more stormy gray sky look, because I decided it just wasn't gray enough, that blue was too bright and cheerful looking to sunny skies looking. So I did come in and just kind of ink blend over that to give it a more stormy gray nasty cloud looking weather, which I am used to here in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm very familiar with that gray nasty sky looking weather. So I'm just going to finish up the ink blending here. If you are not familiar with the Team Tiny video hops, we are a group of creators who have 1,000 subscribers or less, meaning that our channels are not monetized. I do believe that we are going to change this up a little bit here soon. We're not going to be removing channels that have 1,000 channels or less. Oh, here, back to the video for a minute. I'm just showing you how I'm going to put this trifold card together. And then I'm going to tape off the back side of my card, and we're going to bring in the Honey Bee Sunburst background stencil. And this does have 3 layers to this stencil, but I'm only going to be using the first layer for this particular part of the card. I will use the rest of the layers, or all 3 layers, when I move to the inside my sunny sky portion of the card. And when I do the ink blending on this, I'm going to use squeezed lemonade and mustard seed. So anyway, back to Team Tiny. I believe that we are going to keep channels that have more than 1,000 subscribers. Some of us are getting somewhat close to that mark, but we are nowhere near the requirements for YouTube to get our channels to be monetized. So as long as we're not monetized, I do believe that we are going to be able to stay in the group. So either way, Team Tiny is a group of channels that are not monetized, and so you can binge on our content without commercials, which is great. And so we're just encourage you to click, comment, and subscribe if you like our content. We do value your support. And how you hop along to the other channels is that you will see a hashtag in my description box below. It's also going to be in the title of my of my video if I can fit it in there. It's kind of a long hashtag this month, but it will definitely at least be in the description box below. And the hashtag this month is hashtag Team Tiny Spring April Showers. So be sure that you look for that hashtag. All you have to do is click on it and it will bring up all the videos in the hop. And this month we have several new members joining us this month. So you will get some new content from people that you may not have seen before. So that is exciting. You do definitely want to click on their content and watch them. So now here I am adding the MFT Tiny Raindrops, I believe it is, Mini Raindrops stencil. And when I first laid it down, I thought I would be able to do it without some pixie spray, but then I decided that since I'm going to be putting the Decofoil transfer gel through this stencil, that I better put some pixie spray on it. I am messy with gels, pastes, that kind of stuff, and I often get seepage underneath, so I decided that it was best that I take it off to the side and put some pixie spray on it. So that's what I did, and now I'm just putting the Decofoil transfer gel through the stencil. And originally I was going to avoid the center of the sun, but I got a little close to it in a few spots, and so in the end I ended up just going over the whole panel. So we're just going to finish up putting the gel through it, and then we're going to clean off the stencil. Well, you're not going to watch me clean off the stencil, but I am going to clean off the stencil. That's very important. Clean off my tools, and we're going to set this panel aside to dry. And it really didn't take very long because those little raindrops are very tiny. So right here I have this Momenta die set that's got a rainbow and some clouds, a star, a sun, a moon, that kind of stuff. And so I cut the clouds out of a piece of paper or a piece of cardstock that had Xyron on the back of it, my Xyron adhesive, and then I took the ThermoWeb Decofoil flock transfer sheet in white, and I cut a little piece off of that, and I'm just laying the clouds with the sticky adhesive side down to the flock transfer side up, the fuzzy side up basically. And then I ran it through my die cut machine to press that adhesive nice and well down into the flock transfer. So I'm just going to show you here. You can't really see it very well on camera, but you can kind of see the fuzzy. And once I get all the clouds pulled off, I'm going to show you that the flock definitely did remove from that transfer sheet. So you can see that the flock is on the transfer sheet and the clouds are removed, or remove the flock from the, whatever. You can see that those cloud shapes removed from the flock transfer sheet. So here is that rainbow die that I was talking about, and I stacked them up with 4 white layers, and then I colored a white layer in the colors of the rainbow with some alcohol markers that I had, and I tried to kind of do kind of a variegated look with a central highlight somewhat. I'm really not very good with alcohol markers, to be honest, but so I'm just showing you there that I stacked them up and obviously didn't make you watch the whole thing. And then I'm taking my Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen in glitter gloss and just covering the rainbow because, you know, rainbows have to be sparkly, at least in my opinion they do. Then I'm just going to show you how sparkly those turned out. So here is that sheet that we did with the Decofoil transfer gel with the raindrops. So I'm just taking a piece of lapis, I believe it is, lapis, I'm not really sure, Decofoil, and putting that over the top for the raindrops. And then I had printed out a sentiment that says rainbow on it, and I'm just going to put the rainbow foil over the top of that. I ran those both through my laminator, and here's the results of that. We have some nice pretty blue foiled raindrops, and then we're going to have a nice pretty rainbow sentiment. It's kind of like a double rainbow. All right, so now we're going to do the very inside of the card, and I'm going to take that same honeybee sunburst stencil, and we're going to do all 3 layers on this one. So I'm going to start with the squeezed lemonade, and we're going to, I do it darker in the middle and kind of fade it out towards the end of the rays here. And we're just going to go through this really quick, like. So I'm just fading it out, And then I'm going to take the next set in the stencil, which the rays just keep getting smaller and the sun in the middle keeps getting smaller. And we're going to line that up. And I did not get this lined up perfectly, not even. So I don't know. I still think it looks good. I don't think you have to get it lined up perfectly. I mean, it's not like the sun has perfect rays. So now we're doing mustard seed. And again, I start darker in the middle and I just kind of fade it out. And I don't know, this color is kind of close, but I think it still added some depth and dimension to it. And then we're going to go in with the third stencil, and I don't remember what color I started with here, but I did not like it. It didn't show up hardly at all. So I ended up going in lastly with Wild Honey. We'll see what I started with though. Dried Marigold. Wow, my eyes are terrible. If you didn't know that about me, I'm practically blind. At least that's what all my friends and my husband says. So we go in with Dried Marigold first, and I did not like that. And then we switched to the Wild Honey, which I liked a lot better. It might have been a little too dark. I probably could have went in with a little bit lighter hand, but I still think it turned out really, really well in the end. But as you can see, when I take this stencil off, you can tell how poorly I lined it up, all the layers, but I don't know, I still think it turned out great in the end. So then we're going to start assembling the card, I believe. Yes. So I'm just going to glue the back of that to the other panel. And I'm just using some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. And then it takes me a minute to get this lined up because that front part does not go fully up. So I didn't have anything to press it up against fully to line things up. And I did not want to get it cockeyed. So I'm just folding things, making sure everything fits, and then I put some foam tape on that first little tiny cloud panel that we had to pop that up. And then I'm going to put my first sentiment, and I printed these out on my computer and did a print and cut with the Cricut. I did not have any sentiments that went with rain or April showers or anything along those lines. So I just kind of looked on Google and Pinterest to kind of see what sentiments people were using on cards like this, and just kind of pilfered my own sentiment and printed them out. So here's where I'm putting the second part of the sentiment. And only the rainbow one is foiled. The rest of them are just printed in black. Then I played with that rainbow die cut forever to get it just how I wanted. And had I realized that I was going to tuck it behind the flap there, I would not have stacked the rainbow so high with 4 or 5 die cuts. But it is what it is. I think it looks great. It really doesn't really mess with the folding of the card or anything. And then here is where I smeared glue all over my card because I did not get it positioned perfectly, but that's okay. I wiped it off. It surprisingly did not smear the distress ink that I used on the sun. I really thought that I was going to ruin my card at that point. So I'm just going to wipe that off. And then we're going to glue down the rest of the little rainbow pieces and my sentiment. I seriously played with that rainbow so much though. I cut a lot of it out. Do you guys ever do that? Just move things around until you can find a perfect spot for it, but I probably played with it for almost 5 minutes trying to find a perfect spot for it. I would have taken it off probably if I wouldn't have had the sentiment that was, rainbow. But I loved the rainbow, but I was having a hard time finding the right place for it on my card. It was kind of ridiculous. But in the end, I do love how this card turned out. So now I'm popping up the fuzzy clouds. And when I put these on my card, because it is the same cloud die, I kind of wanted the clouds to look different. So I put one going like right side up and one going upside down. Not that there's probably a right side up and an upside down, but you know what I mean. Like I wanted them to look like different clouds, so I put one going one way and one going the other way. And yes, there is a piece of the cloud hanging off. I will cut that off in a minute. So now I'm just gluing down the rainbow word, and then because it is kind of textured with those raindrops, I didn't quite get enough glue all the way down to the edge to hold my sentiment all the way down, so I'm just taking a piece of folded up Post-it note tape here. You can use a piece of cardstock or whatever just to get under the edge. And I have a little dab of glue on the end, and I'm just getting under the edge of that die cut and just smearing it underneath and then pushing it down. And that's what I use all the time when I make mistakes like that and just don't get enough glue on the edge of my die cuts. So there's a little tip for you if you were not aware. You do that. And I got my there is a tiny bit crooked, so I'm just pushing it up. And then we're going to cut off the cloud. And we're going to stick the sentiment on the inside. Oh, and there's a close-up picture of the rainbow. You know how incredibly hard it is to take pictures of foil? It's terrible. I had to take so many pictures to get a decent picture of that foil. Anyways, so now we're going to put the sentiment on the inside. Wishing you a sunny day. And I didn't show it on camera, but I did end up using the gold aqua shimmer pen from Nuvo on that sun on the inside. And then I had a couple of these fuzzy clouds left over that I didn't end up using on that second panel. So I decided that I would decorate, well, I guess I'm going to use one of them on the second panel, but I decided I would put some more clouds on the front of this card. So I just kind of glued them randomly on the front. And I did consider trying to ink the clouds up a little bit with gray, but I was afraid that I would screw it up, quite honestly. So I left them white, because I only have the flock in white and I believe black. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got black. So I just left them white because I was afraid that I'd mess them up if I inked them up. Has anybody, I'm curious, have any of you tried inking up the flocking? I would be curious to know if anybody successfully inked the flocking, because I seriously considered it, but I was afraid I'd screw it up. And I really didn't want to redo it after all the work that I've done. I mean, I guess I just could have thrown the clouds away, but I was afraid that I'd screw it up. So there's the finished card. Don't forget that hashtag in my description box below so you can visit the rest of the creators on this hop, and I hope that you enjoyed my card. And as always, have a great day.